Stay black in America. Don't leave. Don't go anywhere. Greatest country in the world for a black man or a black woman. We're going to do some research today on Spain and colonization of countries, the enslavement of people, Africans and indigenous people. They started their great conquest of enslaving people, 1492. They weren't alone. They had help with England and Germany and France and Spain and Portugal and Belgium and Italy. Pretty much had a plan to colonize all of Africa, you know. A lot of enslaved stuff going on. So let me see here. Show you how it kind of worked here. As far as the indigenous natives, so South America and Central America had natives living there, like America had Native American Indians living here before the white man came in and took over and killed most everybody out, right? So over there in these countries, there were between 250 to 650,000 indigenous people who were put in slavery. They brought somewhere around the neighborhood of 5 million Africans and enslaved them in Central America and South America, through Mexico, all those areas, even parts of the United States. They were run by Spain at that particular time. Before, you had other things, and the English kind of took that over, and actually took it over. So the thing I find in my studying here that really brought something home to me was this. The Spanish had a term they would call the indigenous and enslaved people, who somehow or another couldn't adopt the Spanish language fast enough. They would call them Bozals, B-O-Z-A-L, Bozal. And what Bozal meant in the Spanish language, it meant that person was the slave or the indigenous person who had their own language, their own culture, their own everything, were considered incompetent persons, not having enough sense or knowledge to learn anything. Slaves, indigenous folks, poor speaking Spanish language, bozos, man. How would you even think about calling people that you had the ability, first of all, to put in slavery, and then give them derogatory names because they couldn't learn your language? Wow, fascinating, right? So we got here from 1492 into the 19th century, pretty much, to 1900. These countries were colonized. These indigenous people had to learn the Spanish language. Now when you go through Central and South America, their names are basically Spanish names from Spain, European country. Just like in America, a lot of people in America, former slaves, have European names. When they got their freedom, they didn't know what their own names were, so most of them took the names of the masters. Here, use this name and go on with your life. Use my name, because we done took your name, your identity, and everything away from you. So use my name to exist in the society that we made. So here we go. If we look right now, we say, well, Spain. What is Spain ranked as far as the world? Spain's economy right now amongst the world is ranked 15th. France's economy amongst the world is ranked 7th. Germany is ranked 4th. The UK or Great Britain or the English, who did a lot of things too, colonizing slavery and so forth, they're ranked 6th. The Portuguese are 49th. Belgium is 25th, and Italy is 8th. These same countries who were involved in all that stuff going on from 1492 to 1900s, that's how their ranking is now. That's how their standings are now amongst the world, as far as 1 to whatever 100, the greatest economies in the world. All this time they had, all these hundreds of years they had to dominate people, right, and rule people. And the thing about it is that even to this day and time now, technology rules, right? So during that particular time when they were taking over all these countries, they were more advanced in military, right? They had steel, they had better weaponry. They had been involved in so many actions of fighting amongst themselves. They improved better and better, almost like boxers going in the gym and training, fighting each other. And then you let them loose to people who have no boxing skills at all, no fighting skills at all. They simply destroy those people, wouldn't they? They have more condition, more wind, more strength, more power. Probably can throw 600 or 700 punches in a 10-round fight. And these other people, arms to get heavy, tired, would just get brutalized. So basically, it was a takeover, a planned takeover. They saw these countries, they investigated them, they saw their power, they saw their weakness, saw how they control them. They saw they wanted that precious gold and silver. We're making mine for us. We want to eat more different kinds of food, so we're making produce agriculture for us. Oh, we want tobacco, we want cotton, we want sugar cane, we want bananas, we want everything. We're making work and do all these things for us, pay them nothing because we're smarter than them. They're ignorant as far as we're concerned. They're incompetent, but they can work for us though. You know, they're incompetent, and they can work for free, right? So just take them over and destroy them, and do you want to destroy cultures and everything. I mean, like I say, probably had a lot of languages were like lost to this thing through all these hundreds of years. You know, it's probably hard to keep a language. You know, someone has to really work hard to keep it. So, you know, you find this all through Central America, all through South America, all through Africa. You go to 14 African nations and they're speaking French. You know, they're speaking French and not speaking that native black language. They probably look like the black people who were there before the colonists came, but they don't speak like them no more, do they? But this kind of thing goes on like this. So you look at all. What's the purpose of me talking about all this? Who controlled, who did what they call, what they do. There are derogatory names now that all these countries use against people. There are derogatory names say against black Americans now, derogatory terms against indigenous Indians who still live in here in America. There's all kinds of terms we got to say about everybody. Laugh, talk about people, always want to look better than somebody. But I say to myself, like, you know, you have a lot of white people in America here who, after all these years, are still on welfare, still need assistance from the government, still can't seem to get themselves together after all this head start. And the sad thing about it is black people, black Americans who rise and pass by them, they want to use racism on them, want to stop them, can't stand them. Can't stand them if they're doing good, and can't stand them talking about if they're doing bad. So no matter what you do, you don't win. In some corners of this great United States of America we live in. But indeed, we're the number one economy in the world. And black folks living in America are the richest people of color in this entire world, right? So everybody's coming here. Everybody's coming to America because of the economy. These people are coming from Africa or South America or Central America or over in India or China, or wherever you're coming from. They're coming here because of the economic dollar and the power. So it's incumbent upon black America to make that money. Make yourself a presence, you know, solve some problems. Work at every job you can work at. Work at fast food, work at industry, work at construction, work at every job you can work. Make that money. Don't have that thing in your brain, that stigma, that thing that holds you back. Oh, I was a slave on this continent. Oh my God, I feel so depressed. I'm this and that. You don't let that stuff hold you back. You be like an ant in an anthill. You knock down an ant's anthill, and the ant builds it back up again, doesn't it? It doesn't say, oh my goodness, they knocked it all down. Knock it down again, they'll keep building. You knock it down, they'll build it until they cease to exist, so they're not living anymore. They'll continue to build and climb back up, which a lot of black Americans have done over here in America. And if you look at the Central American nations, they're all indigenous people. They tend to look a little different. If you look at Guatemalans to El Salvador to Costa Rica to Panamanians to Nicaragua to everybody, they tend to look a little different from the other ones. But you see the Spanish influence, which kind of controlled them, you know, kind of inbreeds. You know, you have sex with the indigenous people because, like over here in America, where black man is being kind of like looked down upon by his own black female, is a systematic plan. See, if you can hold a man back from getting a job and say no to him, you get a job to that same female of the same ethnic race, and she begins to think, she forgets why you can't get a job. All she knows is you can't get it. You can't provide. You can't do for me. I'm making more than you. Therefore, I'm better than you. I'm a man when you're just a woman. And then you tend to be higher employed, higher making money, and think that you're better than the average man. because you think you're just there now, because this is the reality. I'm making more than you. But in reality, you fall down a tier even more because you don't get married. Only 20%, 25% are getting married. 75% are not. Having babies out of wedlock, miscellaneous babies. You're raising kids and can't raise them properly. So psychologically, you've been destroyed. But mentally, you think you're doing better than somebody else. You think, I'm doing better than they're doing. I deserve someone who makes what I make. What a great master plan. Anyway, so the colonists are still, they're still more intelligent. They still devise more plans in which to control somebody and push the dominoes. Here's the domino effect. This is how we're going to control these people. And we're going to pit these ethnics against each other. And we're going to stay in control. We're going to make it so they need us. We're going to provide money and monetary system, how they wish they can function. We're going to put plenty of drugs and guns in the black community. We're going to put plenty of drugs and alcohol in the Hispanic and other communities. We're going to put opium and so forth in the Asian communities. We're going to do this to everybody else. They're sitting and thinking the whole time how to control and keep things under control. How are you going to systematically kill people out with diseases or pandemics or things of that nature to stay in control, because in control is where they want to be. So you keep thinking, you keep figuring out a way. But this thing of Central America now, the population of Spain right now is just 47.42 million people. And again, the 15th ranked economy in the world. After hundreds and hundreds of years of dominating and having free labor, right? So they say, oh, the French were a little more, not the French, the Spanish were a little more humane. People were not treated as harshly, and you could, in some cases, earn your freedom. Thank you very much for enslaving me and changing my language and whooping me down. Thanks for letting me be able to earn my freedom, which I was born with. Thank you very much. How kind are you? Colonizer, enslaver, and killer of people. Well, that's the thing there. And the amazing thing about this now, that Bozal thing I was telling you, what the Spanish people called the indigenous or the slaves who couldn't pick up Spanish very well, or could very fast. The Bozal, the Bozal, right? Bozal. Bozal is what that stemmed to. In America, it's called Bozal, and they made a clown out of it called Bozal the Clown, which had copyrights to it in 1946. Made a bunch of children's books and a clown making people laugh. So the clown symbolizes those indigenous or those black slaves who couldn't speak very much Spanish and were looked down upon and talked negatively about because they couldn't learn a stranger's language. So it continues the whole thing and it gives it another name. You know, they even created an avatar about Bozal the Clown's hair, and in 2009, September the 4th, 2009, just to keep that thing going. But it still means the same thing. Incompetent person, don't have much intelligence, things of that nature. They want to outthink you, still outthink you and out and figure things out, ahead of time for you. So that's my breakdown on Spain and basically the Spanish in Spain. Because I have a lot of customers, indigenous customers from Central America and South America, who speak the Spanish language, and I clearly see when a white Spanish person comes here opposed to an indigenous person. You see clearly the differences in how people look, right? Clearly see the differences, even from country to country. So, the DNA of those native people is still coming out. And I love when they wear their native haircuts and their native styles and things they enjoy, because that's gaining your heritage back. Gaining it back after all these years of abuse and years of people putting their foot on your neck and holding you down and making you work like I say, slaves in your own country. So that's my thing there. I say stay black in America. And all I my things with people like to say a Western religion and things of this nature. I don't call it a Western religion. I call it a relationship with Jesus Christ. And some people say, well, the J wasn't invented. Oh, maybe it's Joshua. But nevertheless, it's the Son of the living God. And this gospel came about through through the Jewish people, through the seeds of Abraham, which God wanted to preach the gospel to the entire world. So God made it as easy as possible for mankind to come to heaven. He sent his only begotten Son to die for the sins of the entire world. So anybody that accepts Jesus Christ as the Lord and Savior and repent of their sins is going to heaven by grace and not by works. So despite what these colonizers did and how they controlled and put the foot on people's necks and killed a lot of people and slaved a lot of people and joked and called people all kind of names, these countries like Portugal and Belgium and Italy and the UK and all it can tell the UK and Germany and France and Spain and all those places doing those things, everybody's going to be judged. As that Holy Bible says, the master's going to be judged like the slave going to be judged. And God sees the heart. So you go back hundreds and hundreds of years and some slaves going to be in heaven and those slave masters going to be in hell. Now, if you live to be 100 or 200 years old, you live a long human life. But your death is forever. And the soul is immortal. So God's going to judge the heart. He's going to judge those who love his Son, Jesus Christ, and got the relationship, because there's no religion. Religion is made by man. So our hope is always in Christ Jesus. And God above in heaven so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, and whoever believes in him should have everlasting life and not perish in hell. Because hell was made for Satan and the angels that were cast out of heaven like lightning, because there was found no place in heaven for them. So all human beings have the opportunity to go to heaven by choice and by grace. So everybody can make it there. So this has been my saying here, how the Spanish called their enslaved and indigenous people and how they ridicule them and talk about them. So stay black in America. Subscribe to my channel. Bye.